absolutely brilliant.
He hit the ball so clean and so hard with the inside of his foot. The most powerful whip of a ball I've ever seen. He was a real ruthless finisher.
His power took me by surprise.
All he wanted to do was score goals, and he wasn't one of those that had great finesse around the box. He would just bash it into the goal.
One of the most difficult opponents for me to read. So he worked out ways to be effective. Cost me a lot of money in terms of fines.
I was top scorer in 3 different leagues: Holland, England and Spain. In my career, I had 5 incredible seasons at Manchester United. I am Ruud van Nistelrooy, and this is my story. One thing is the belief of a coach that actually that there is a potential, you know, to get there where you want to be.
They didn't want to give him a contract, but anyone could see that he had genuine potential, and so that made me mad.
He was one who he made a strong point, you know, that we need this lad in the team, and he's only 15.
I told management he should get a contract, and if he doesn't get one, I'll take him to another club myself.
You knew exactly where you were with him, and well, the worst thing you could do with him was to give 99.9% because that wasn't enough.
In the early days at Den Bosch, he was a bit too easy on himself. So then I would sometimes provoke and push him, as in, if you keep going like this, you won't make it. And then he said to his mum and dad, the coach doesn't believe in me. But his parents told him, you just listen to your coach, it'll be fine. And then, when he scored, he would look at me, but I would look the other way and thought, that's it, that's it.
I knew what he wanted, how he wanted his team to play. You know, he always said, if you survive me, you'll survive anything. All the rumors, you know, I could read. It wasn't only Manchester United, but it was Chelsea, it was Arsenal, it was Bayern Munich, it was this, it was that. Because, yeah, as a 21, 22-year-old, start scoring a goal per game. That's what gets other clubs interested. We played a friendly game against the Danish side. I ruptured my medial ligament, and it was in plaster and in a brace after, and I was out for maybe 6 to 8 weeks. They said, well, as long as it's dead, then you'll recover from that. Let's do the medical, and if that's all fine, you can sign. In my mind, I was going over to Manchester to sign a 5-year deal for Manchester United. Got a phone call on the way there that the doctor, he wasn't sure about the knee. He thought maybe it was more going on, not only medial ligament damage, but also cruciate ligament damage.
A key focus of our test today has been on the injured knee, and we have been unable to complete all the necessary tests to our satisfaction today.
And the doctor in Manchester, he was right. So there was a mistake in the diagnosis here. If we knew that, we wouldn't have gone over anyway. And then I sat there, and that's when, you know, a lot of things go through your mind. When I came back from Manchester and I started doing my rehab again, and I really injured my knee. And my cruciate ligament was torn. Yeah, all of a sudden there was another situation. That's where I was going to be out for 9 months. That wasn't an easy time. I remember Sir Alex Ferguson called me when the deal was cancelled, and he phoned me up and he said, "Don't worry, Ruud, once you'll be a Manchester United player." And I really appreciated the kindness, you know, the phone call. After 9 months, I came back like an animal, you know. I was so fit, I was so strong, and I was ready to show the world again where I stopped before.
Van Nistelrooy has not been able to wait for his debut in the Premier League. Into Van Nistelrooy, chances here, and Van Nistelrooy has poked it across and in. He's got his first Premier League goal. And Ruud, chant the Manchester United fans.
He showed such determination to come back. You could tell he was just a sensational goal scorer. So single-minded, driven.
Well, Sir Alex Ferguson's been singing his praises. He's been after him for a long time, of course.
It just proved everything about Sir Alex Ferguson and his patience with him and waiting for him. When the ball got within that box, the 18-yard box, he'd just find a way to get a yard and just put it in the back of the net.
I didn't feel pressure. I felt only motivated. I went through this all to get here. What's gonna stop me anyway?
It's a good early ball. Ruud van Nistelrooy doesn't miss. 30 seconds on the clock. Manchester United lead business.
The fans, they said, okay, this guy has worked his socks off to get back here after such a horrific injury. That lifted me even more.
There were some really good strikers at the time. You know, your Ferdinands, your Shearers. You know, Michael Owen was just bursting onto the stage as well. Robbie Fowler was around. He was real world class because his movement, his finishing power, his goals record was phenomenal.
Van Nistelrooy, simplicity. Manchester United take the lead.
It was a very good start. The only there wasn't silverware to celebrate at the end of the season. So a season at Manchester United without silverware is a very disappointing season, and that's what the manager always pointed out.
His first season for the team was quite difficult because we didn't win the league title, and we got knocked out the European Cup in the semi-final against Bayer Leverkusen. So it was a real difficult season for the team, but for Ruud it was sensational.
It's a big acknowledgement as a player, you know, coming into a foreign league, and your teammates vote, and all the players in the Premier League they vote for you as the best player in that league, which is a massive honour.
At the time we had Dwight York and Andy Cole. Andy Cole was a out-and-out striker, you know, so to replace somebody like Andy Cole was big for Ruud at the time, but he came in and he set the whole Premier League alight.
Fulham was a special one because that's where I think I scored the best goal I've ever scored. I remember that getting the ball in midfield, and I had a chance to turn, and then I starting to gain speed in the dribble. Yeah, I was dribbling 2-3 players, and then I was in front of the goalkeeper at the time. And I cut it back and tucked it in. What I wanted to become as a player, that sort of came out in that moment.
Ruud had more skill than people probably give him credit for. If you played any type of box or two-touch game or anything like that, or in training, he could do stuff with the ball that not many people could do, little tricks and stuff. And it's kind of his mentality. You could see a switch straight away in the way he approached games. There was no messing about. The ball fell, bang, back of the net.
Welcome to Highbury for the most important match of the season. It's the Championship showdown between Arsenal and Manchester United.
It was a big game. We were quite a few points behind, so I think to lose would have been that would have been it for the title run, more or less. So getting a result there was important. Was very important.
And Nistelrooy, that's brilliant.
Well, I remember running after him from the halfway line and him sprinting away from us.
Ruud van Nistelrooy gives Manchester United the lead.
Once he got his chance, he was like a predator there. He wasn't gonna miss it. So yeah, that was if we could have won that game, I think we could have maybe have seen them off.
The matches between Man United and Arsenal were electric. Nothing to choose between the two teams. They had some fantastic players, but big characters. Keane, Vieira, Petit, Henry, Van Nistelrooy. There were matchups all over the field. And it was a game where everybody had to raise the level of performance, and Ruud was a man for the big occasion.
In the last 3 months of that season, we won every game, and Arsenal started to drop points, and in the end we caught them.
Sometimes when you're being pursued and chased and the hunted rather than the hunter, it's more difficult in that running, and he became quite prolific.
Solskjaer's great header on Van Nistelrooy, he's got another one!
I remember the game we won the league against Charlton at home. I scored a hat-trick.
Oh, and here's Van Nistelrooy. A hat-trick, he has it! He is simply magnificent.
Arsenal played Leeds, where they dropped a few points, and we won the league on the next day.
Is there a late drama to be had from Mark Viduka? It's Viduka. Leeds may well have snatched the victory here. Manchester United may well have won the Premier League title.
We were a special side with the support of the fans. We just kept on going, and that's what is also demanded at United.
Now Van Nistelrooy goes to ground, penalty given.
I remember the penalty, and I remember that it went through my mind. Because I don't know how many goals Thierry had at the time, but I knew we were sort of close. So, you know, it definitely went through my mind when I took the penalty.
Nistelrooy to score. Ruud not to. Trust him to have a say on the final day.
And combining that with silverware was what makes it even more special. Holding the first Premiership medal and combining that with a golden boot, yeah, I mean, then your footballing life doesn't get any better.
He was driven on a personal note to score goals and to get the individual awards, but also when you join a club like Man United, you want the team awards as well, the Premier Leagues.
It's been a marvellous year, it's unbelievable. You see this, everybody's so happy. We won the league now. That was the big thing.
It was more a relief to get that kind of monkey off your back that you don't want to be in a change room and be the only ones that haven't won the league.
To see him celebrating on the last game of the season away at Everton, you saw the joy in his face.
And he's got those records. The 10th successive Premier League game in which he's scored, the 12th in all competitions.
It's not only the momentum of a striker, it's also the momentum of a team. I think at the time, with the quality players we had, the way it was managed, I think that was very special, you know, and a great quality of the manager, that he could get the team in such flow. And players in such mood, you know, to keep going.
We could win 3-1, and we'd all be happy, buzzing in the changing room, and you'd turn around and look at Ruud, and you'd be sitting there, you could see something's wrong, and you'd think, who scored? Oh, we won 3-1, but Ruud hasn't scored. That's why he's upset. You know what I mean? You'd sit there, you could see a little bit of grump in him. Ruud was selfish. The last bit of chicken on your plate, he'd take it like it was a goal. He would do it. That's him, and that's what strikers are like. Michael Owen's the same. Ian Wright was the same. Ruud's the same. If you're not selfish, you don't become the goal scorers that they became.
That was the biggest test in my career.
It's remarkable to think that was such a defining moment. Because we're now talking about the Invincibles going unbeaten for a whole season.
It was unfortunate the way they acted. It was a top Arsenal team, and you know, when I look back at that season, that goes down in history for them.
There was a foul, and he kicked towards me, and I jumped back a little bit. I knew at the time what happened, and I said to the ref, "Hey, what's this?"
He knew the enormity of that because there was a chance then if we were down to 10 men.
The ref was right there, booked him for the second yellow.
When Patrick got sent off, we felt that he played a big part in that. Fraining injury, when he must watch that back and be embarrassed with it.
No problem, I would do it 100 times again, anytime. I played a part in that, but after that you don't have to justify that behavior. I just wanted to carry on playing. My job was to keep my focus on the game, which I did. Amazingly enough, looking back on it.
Stoppage time, pressure from Manchester United. Into the danger zone, Forlan goes down. Manchester United want a penalty, and they've got it too. It's all going wrong for Arsenal late on here. They've had Vieira sent off, and now Manchester United have a penalty.
And then he had a gilt-edged opportunity. You never get a better one with an open goal. And I mean, I pretty well backed him to put it in. Somehow he missed it, but, you know, kind of thank God he did.
We could have beat them, and we should have. It's unfortunate because 9 times out of 10, Ruud buries those penalties, you know.
And it looks as though Arsenal have got out of jail there. There can't be much more of this. That is the final whistle. It was very nearly the last kick. And Van Nistelrooy is getting shoved around now by the Arsenal players.
It looked like it was kids on a playground reacting in that way, and you can't take it back. But we were kind of like incensed, and we were in the lion's den there.
We all have a laugh at it now, but actually what those Arsenal players did was nothing short of a disgrace, really. You know, to goad someone, to jump all over him, to be in his face. For Ruud to restrain himself, it deserves massive credit. And I think the reason he restrained himself, because the only thing on his mind was the fact that he missed that penalty.
I was so disappointed and gutted, and I was sick that I missed the penalty. Not because I helped Arsenal on a longer run. Of course not. I was sick because I didn't give Manchester United the 3 points that I should.
Van Nistelrooy is off to the shelter of the dressing room. Good idea before he gets involved in anything else out there.
And funnily enough, the first penalty, what I missed, kept them in the run. But then the year later, the moment comes back. And that's what happens in life and in football.
They were on the back of a 49-game unbeaten run.
And, you know, when I look back at that season, that goes down in history for them.
There was a foul, and he kicked towards me, and I jumped back a little bit. I knew at the time what happened, and I said to the ref, "Hey, what's this?"
He knew the enormity of that because there was a chance then if we were down to 10 men.
The ref was right there, booked him for the second yellow.
When Patrick got sent off, we felt that he played a big part in that. Fraining injury, when he must watch that back and be embarrassed with it.
No problem, I would do it 100 times again, anytime. I played a part in that, but after that you don't have to justify that behavior. I just wanted to carry on playing. My job was to keep my focus on the game, which I did. Amazingly enough, looking back on it.
Stoppage time, pressure from Manchester United. Into the danger zone, Forlan goes down. Manchester United want a penalty, and they've got it too. It's all going wrong for Arsenal late on here. They've had Vieira sent off, and now Manchester United have a penalty.
And then he had a gilt-edged opportunity. You never get a better one with an open goal. And I mean, I pretty well backed him to put it in.
And he's hit the underside of the bar. Amazing.
somehow he missed it, but, you know, kind of thank God he did.
We could have beat them and we should have. It's unfortunate because 9 times out of 10 Ruud buries those penalties, you know.
And it looks as though Arsenal have got out of jail there. There can't be much more of this. That is the final whistle. It was very nearly the last kick. And Van Nistelrooy is getting shoved around now by the Arsenal players.
It looked like it was kids on a playground reacting in that way, and you can't take it back. But we were kind of like incensed, and we were in the lion's den there.
We all have a laugh at it now, but actually what those Arsenal players did was nothing short of a disgrace, really. You know, to goad someone, to jump all over him, to be in his face. For Ruud to restrain himself, it deserves massive credit. And I think the reason he restrained himself, because the only thing on his mind was the fact that he missed that penalty.
I was so disappointed and gutted, and I was sick that I missed the penalty. Not because I helped Arsenal on a longer run. Of course not. I was sick because I didn't give Manchester United the 3 points that I should.
Van Nistelrooy is off to the shelter of the dressing room. Good idea before he gets involved in anything else out there.
And funnily enough, the first penalty, what I missed, kept them in the run. But then the year later, the moment comes back. And that's what happens in life and in football.
They were on the back of a 49-game unbeaten run, so we were hurting, and we hadn't really started the season really well, and we were struggling.
We all saw what happened after that game, and that was with us when we played them at Old Trafford again. And you could see the delight, the relief, the adulation in Ruud's face when he celebrated that goal.
Being part of Manchester United is always a responsibility to win trophies and win the league every year. When you don't, it's been a bad year.
We took a couple of years to rebuild with a lot of young players like myself, Ronaldo and Rooney, and we were just, you know, really learning the game a little bit, and nobody knew what to expect from us.
I think Ruud was one of the guys who probably played a big part in Ronaldo, Cristiano making that switch from being a bit of a show pony and just thinking about skills to becoming someone who wanted to be productive.
Ronaldo, lovely footwork, Van Nistelrooy, oh, what a goal that would have been.
I remember one training session, he just erupted. Ronaldo was doing skill after skill on a crossing drill, didn't cross the ball, and we went, what's going on? I don't know when you're going to cross the ball, just get the ball, cross the ball, and I'll put it away. All these tricks you're doing, I can't make runs. What is wrong with you?
I didn't focus myself on the squad. I'm not the manager, so I just focused on my job. It was a good season. It started well until the cup final day, and that's where things changed, you know.
You're disappointed in not playing. There's a way to handle that. But sometimes in the midst of what's going on, the importance of the game, sometimes it overboils, it overflows with some anger, I'm sure, was in there, and different elements.
That's never easy when 2 big egos go at each other, but again, I was a young kid, so I was just hiding in the shadows trying to make sure I got a peek of what was going on.
It's highlighted as an incident, but it was maybe more to it, and future plans, obviously, of the manager are in there.
I tend to think Sir Alex handled things very well. It's hard sometimes when things don't go right, and he had to pull the plug on a few players probably earlier than people would have liked to save, you know, the balance of things within the team and within the club.
For the last time this season, the grand entrance of the Manchester United players, and Ruud van Nistelrooy has been involved in pre-match drama here. Having not been selected, we're told he has left the ground.
He said, you're not part of the squad today. And I said, okay. What am I going to do then? I said, well, think you're going to go home then. I said, all right, and of course it was a big disappointment, you know, but that's where I started thinking, you know, okay, this might end here.
I thought they were building a team